Let's get those filters set up. There we go. Ready to rock and roll. Should be able to see from there. Oh, what a world we live in. We'll get that in a little bit. So we're going to get back to working on the robot of the dendrobium. So the GP03 Stamen. Last week I started working on a couple parts, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the hell I did. The legs are done. These got to be arms, but wackadoo arms. Anyway, so we get a few more people in. I'll kind of start. It's funny. This is doing this is not an easy thing for me. Being able to sit there and kind of blither about the way I'm seeing the craziness in this world. I got to spit something. It is, it's not generally me. I'm looking at this. Hey, Peter, what's going on, brother? Got that. Sorry, I'm actually trying to remember what the hell I did last week. Got that, got that. In theory, that's done. E2 and E1. Now, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's not it's not easy for me to get up there and kind of do this. I can have these conversations in my head pretty easily, but yeah, not like if we're going to do some modeling in a few. Nice. And hopefully I won't ruin your night for you, Peter. I'll try not to. But, I think there are going to be a couple things I'm going to focus on tonight. And it's trying to move less into the angry and more into the just kind of why I get the way I feel, why I feel the way I get so pissed off, And a lot of it really comes down to, I mean, there's a couple things. The first is just my own upbringing, one of the things that I guess I was brought up, and I had a hard lesson when I was 14. Just don't lie. Be honest, and you know what? Things won't necessarily be okay, but it's a lot better than fucking lying. And I think that's a lot of the key frustration with what's going on now. For me, at least from the political side of things, I feel like I am being lied to, that we are being lied to as a people, primarily as Americans. We are being lied to. Sorry, give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to figure out how this is all coming together. Bang. Bang. And that's something I don't cotton to very well. Look, I'm not trying to make myself be a holier than thou, I know better than anybody else kind of guy. That's not my point. I will go into sort of like a little personal history. Something ain't jiving. E2 and E1. Something ain't jiving. I think it's because I put these things on upside down. You know. So as I said last week, I think the frustration I felt with what's going on now is I feel like as I'm being lied to by the government that represents me, and that to me is something that I find unconscionable. You know, um, I wish that somebody would just be honest. I would rather you come to me and say to me, "Here's how I'm going to fuck you. Here's how I am going to change things in a way that you may find antithetical." I would rather somebody do that than try to lie to me and tell me the reason they're doing it is for my own benefit, you know, and that's something I don't agree with. We are taking these people out of this country, throwing people into these gulags over, you know, in foreign lands. Why? Because you're unsafe. It's funny. I don't generally feel unsafe. Um, in fact, when I look at a lot of the migrants that are around me, I don't have a problem with it. And frankly, being somebody from an immigrant family, it's kind of a sensitive issue. You know, additional lies. Let's see. Like, I'm going to solve the war in Ukraine and Gaza the next day, but I need to be president so I can do it. I can do it the next day. I know these people. I can get this thing straightened out. We're 100 days in. And in fact, it's gotten worse. So once again, and then it's the whole gaslighting. Well, this may not happen. Well, why did you lie? Why did you come out and say this isn't going to happen? This, you know, I can do this if I'm in that office. If you're telling me you can only do this when you're in your office, and now you're in the office, you lied. And then when you're backtracking, it wasn't hey, this is not working out exactly the way we thought. Okay, but you're lying to me consistently about what you did to get into office, and then when you're there, oh, but I'm not going to be able to solve it. You know, or the economy. Day one, we're gonna drop prices. We're gonna fix all this stuff. Okay, you haven't. Your tariffs are gonna be instantaneously taking care of problems. They're not. And what else? Let's see. I'm gonna get to the baby doll thing, which also kind of pissed me off. But that aside, so you're lying to me about that. I will get in and change things. Egg prices are down 87%. Egg prices are down 93. First of all, which one is it? It can't be both. So which one is it? And then when you call which one it is, can you at least not fucking lie to me about that number? Egg prices can't be down 93%, can't be down 87%. They're not down, but that besides the point. You can't have something come down that much because it didn't start out at $100. So let's just start with that. Okay, so you got that. We talked about that last week. The lies in terms of that we're making all these deals, that these deals are happening. 200 countries. 200 countries have all come knocking at your door? Really? Again, then prove it to me. No, I'm not going to prove it to you now. Not going to tell you. So the other part to that is then this is the most transparent government administration that's ever been. We're the most transparent around. You don't say shit. In fact, when you are called out on something or you're asked something, you deflect. So can you explain to me then how it is that you're not lying to me? Just be honest with me. Again, all I ask for is for some level of integrity. Because yeah, that's the other thing, right, Peter? I didn't even want to go down that route because how do you have 200 countries coming to you if you can't even get the basic math right? And I didn't want to go into this route, but since you brought it up, if you can't even get the basic math right, how are you not lying? How can you be trusted to do good? Not lying. How can you be trusted to be honest? And then when you're called out to basically vilify the person on the other side, you know, the it to me again, it continues to be that unconscionable thing. Hey Nick, good evening. How are you? Continues to be that completely unconscionable thing. As I've said, I don't care if you came up to me, and this is why I've in some ways I do miss a lot of, and I know what I'm saying here. I miss some of the old crazy Republicans because at least they would tell you straight to your face, we're doing this because we believe it's right. We're going to, we believe in the trickle down economics, and this is why. Okay, at least you're telling me what your theory is. I don't buy into your theory, but at least you're telling me what your theory is. Right now, what I'm being told is give it a month or two, give it 3 months. Things aren't, I didn't cause this problem. That guy behind me did. Unless something good happens, and then it's like, well, see what I fixed that guy behind me left behind. So that's that kind of lying stuff that it just, like I said, it's getting a little old. I take it back. It's getting a lot old. And it's despicable. My parents, like I said, I'm not an angel, and I'm not putting myself on some pedestal, but I try at least to be honest with the people around me. I'll give a good example of myself. I tell people all the time, I'm terrible at replying to DMs and to texts. And Nick, I know you're gonna give me some shit for it, and I totally deserve it. I have arrived, Mike. Good evening. How are you? I've told people this all the time. I'm terrible at it. I'm not gonna lie. It's because I switch off. I'm not gonna sit there, oh, hey, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot, or yeah, yeah. You do that enough times and people are gonna start calling you on your shit. I've been fairly candid and honest with people about why I typically like to switch off because it's like at the end of the day, I want to have the least amount of technology communication around me. I want to just kind of switch off. In fact, I've been enjoying just sitting down in the evenings and just pulling out a model, maybe listening to a little music, and that's it. That decompression. And I like doing it sometimes without anybody around me. I love my family, I love my kids, love my wife and everything like that. But that downtime at the end of the night when it's kind of me is a very very comforting thing. So as I said, it's just be honest. Be honest with me. The other thing that this week I think was also very, very frustrating is once again, I continue to feel that, sorry guys, I'm just looking at these parts. Oops, I'm pulling out the wrong parts. The other thing about this is all I'm asking for is a little humility, because again, I hate to put it this way, this is my background, meaning that this is how I was brought up. I was brought in and I love giving examples. My dad is a great example. My dad did a lot of things in the Greek community that he helped build up in New Hampshire, and he never took ownership of any. He never was like, yeah, he's put himself on a pedestal. He never put his name into anything. He didn't put these like, you go into a church and you see this a lot. They got these big fucking placards all over the place. Hey, this thing was donated by the such and such family. My dad never did that shit. He did stuff. He didn't want to take credit for it because he's like, that's not the way I am. It's like, I just want to do what's right. So when I then look around and see the I, me, and the patting on the back of to the point of nauseum, like watching the administration and thank God for you, President Trump. You are just the best. Oh my God, you're just, without your leadership, we would be in just that kind of sycophantic thing. It's nauseating, and it goes against the humility of doing service for others. Because are you doing this to be praised? Do we need to sit there and literally praise you to such sickening ways? Is that the only way you can do right? Yeah, not the way I was brought up. Not the way I was brought up. You know, you do right because you do right. So that lack of humility, that lying, that consistently is happening. $20.21. Sorry, guys. It's getting to be a bit much, and I don't know what more to say about it. Yeah, it's some North Korea shit. Yeah, I grew up. Yo, what's going on, Ken? Good evening. Once again, I'm bringing up a lot of the way I grew up because I think it's important for people to understand. And I'm going to actually, call out, I'll call out my own shit. But I grew up, in a world where we looked upon what was happening here in the U.S. My parents came here because they wanted to do right and good and help out. And we came here. We didn't go to Australia. A lot of Greeks went to Australia. We didn't go to, to the UK. We came to this country. My family came to this country. And by the way, this is a comment I made to a friend earlier today. There is and there has been, and it's still prevalent. Trump would not hold his own in a Greek family. Poor guy would get devoured. Oh, in a fucking heartbeat. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you right now, he would not want to go up against my mom. I wouldn't want to go up. I don't go up. I didn't go up against my mom. I said, I don't know. But my parents came to this country because they wanted to do right by their family. So when you see all of this crazy shit that's going on here, and you think this is where they came. My family was vilified. Back in my father's family came here in the 30s. Okay, my dad was born in 21. He came here in I think when he was probably 10 or so. And during that time, they were not greeted well. That's the thing I think that people seem to forget. Every generation seems to forget the history of what it was like before. My family was not greeted well. Now, don't get me wrong. They were treated like shit by everybody. In fact, when my mom came over and they moved into their neighborhood in the 60s, they had some rough patches, but for the most part, they were extremely well greeted, and we had great friends next door who were very, very conservative. And we can start our meeting tomorrow going around the room, and everyone can tell you how awesome a president you are, dude. We should do that. We should do that. Not. Again, and Peter, and I know that you're joking and everything like that, and I appreciate that. What's funny is every time we have those, what we do is at our IPMS Patriot meetings, we always do, when we have new people in particular, we always do we always do a round table of introducing ourselves. And at the end of that introduction, I always leave it with, this isn't about me doing, I'm just the next guy in line doing whatever I'm doing. There are people before me, there are going to be people after me. I'm just very thankful that we've got this huge group of people that is also inviting. It's about us. It's never about me. You know, we've had an amazing amount of people come about because of the success of all of us. I will tell you right now, I would never have joined this organization if whoever was in charge was all about me, me, me. Would never have done it. So, with that, I will just once again just say I am. Hey, Mike. Good evening, Mike. Real quickly, I got a question for you, Mike. Mods and Customs. First of all, Mike, are you guys doing all right? I heard about the shit going down at UPS. I just want to make sure everything is all right. But give me 1 second here. I'm actually trying to figure out how the hell this part's coming together because I'm not paying enough attention here. Bang, bang. But my family was not always greeted well. The community that my father was brought up in here in that he came to in the States didn't always treat him well, but my father always did his best. The fuck am I doing wrong? Always try to do his best. I know what I'm doing wrong. Even when he was treated like shit. So this is why when I look at what's going on, I have no problem in, just saying to people, it's like this is why you got to treat people with a certain level of respect and kindness because you know what? We were all in that position. You know, I look at it as okay, using the analogy that Peter just used. When people come into our meetings, we treat everybody with the kindness and respect. Everybody walks in and it's like you're greeted and you're invited and you are made to feel like you belong. Okay. Again, that's how I was brought up. And I'd like to think that we as an organization do that. Unfortunately, we are been shown that that is not an acceptable thing to do in today's world. That if you're one of the others, you may not be welcome. You know, think about it. Anyone asks, I get the answer. No idea what you're talking about. We did not hear. We did hear some scary rumors this morning, but not from a reliable source, and still just a rumor. I hope. Yeah, Mike, I'm praying for you, brother. I am so praying for you. Let's personalize it a little bit. Let's toss out some examples of some shit. So, I'm a Gundam modeler. I could have gone to many IPMS meetings and been treated with people who were been saying, you know what? Yeah, we don't want your kind here. You're unwelcome. Get the fuck out of here. Right? And that's not happened. The people that I have been associated with in the modeling community, both the greater modeling community, but also the local modeling community, have always been incredibly inviting. And that's how we as a society function. We can't function in a way where, at least in my mind, you can't have a functioning society if it's those people over there, we're over here, and fuck you, we're never going to come together. And that's how I feel like we're kind of breaking things down right now. As I was saying earlier about the whole lying thing, again, be honest. You want to deport people of color, people of a different nationality, people who don't have the same look and feel of you, get them the fuck out of this country, is what your attitude is. You are absolutely destroying this country. Our business and product supply is going to in jeopardy in due time. Oh yeah. And we'll talk. I've been talking a little bit about this in the morning, Mike. I bought a few models from AliExpress recently. Dude, the majority of the stuff that I have in my wish list isn't even available now. And the other half has gone up in price anywhere from 75 to 200%. It's unreal what's been happening. So every morning when I do my live stream, I always say, be kind to somebody. Don't treat them like shit. My religion, my background, my personal human experience, I'm almost 60 years old, everything has led me to treat people with some level of kindness. Treat them the way you would want to be treated. You know, the golden rule. And why it is that our first instinct when there are people who are different from us is to say, how did you get here? If you got here illegally, you don't belong. That is the most dehumanizing thing I can think of that we do with people. Let's find ways of making things work as opposed to finding destructive ways of trying to treat people. And that's, again, that's how my dad brought me up. That's how my mom brought me up. And that's how I hope I go out. All of our distributors have canceled all orders that are not already in shipping. Oh, yeah. Mike, I've heard the same thing. I love the fact that, Mike, and I know that you're not the one who likes to hear the political shit, but you're going to hear the political shit. I love the fact that the fuck-knuckle president last night says, you know what? You don't need your 30 dolls. You can deal with 2 dolls. And yeah, they're going to cost a little bit more, but why do you need all that other shit? And I'm thinking to myself, why is it your fucking decision to tell me what I want? You're going to tell me if 2 models, using personalizing this thing, 2 models is good enough? That's not for you to decide. That's not for anybody to decide. That's for me to decide. If I want 30 models, I want 300 models, I want 3,000 models. That's up to me to decide, not my president. You know? So this chaos that's going on is unreal. And the chaos is coming from so many fronts. All of it at its core is in a, if anyone here has children to buy for Christmas, best buy it now. When you see it come fourth quarter, shelves will be empty. Yeah, Mike, and I got to tell you, Mike, I am praying to God that something changes here, Mike, because I do have fear for folks like yourselves. Like I said, I don't need to buy more shit, but I know the importance of people selling stuff in order to keep their business going. At some point, it will likely impact my business. And by the way, anybody who's saying that tariffs are not a tax on people, you're not in my industry. I'm seeing prices going up between 10 and 40% on the shit that I'm selling. And I don't sell cheap shit. But at some point, somebody's going to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that TV. I'm going to hold off on that surround system. I'm going to hold off on that lighting control system. Every one of my vendors is coming back and saying that. I'm going to see empty shelves in as soon as 2 months. Yep. It's a good time to step back and check our perspective. Really have to get past our default settings and try to see things going. And Ken, I'm not disagreeing with you in that regard. Maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't be necessarily such consumers, but I think it's up to us individually to make that decision. Not to have a leader say to me, you shouldn't have that. Your kids don't need that. Fuck you. No, I don't buy that mentality. It's my decision to make. And in fact, I have made that decision. I've scaled back on a lot of my model purchases. That was my decision to make well before all this came about. It is not up to my government to say, you don't need that. Fuck you. And not just our business or about our dinner tables. Yeah, we agree on that. Yeah, I kind of can. I know. Ken, we're on the same page, brother. I know. And not just our business, but what about our dinner tables? Absolutely, Mike. I don't know. I don't know. I truly, and I'm going to say this, there's been a lot, I listened to a few podcasts. I'm going to fire off 5 of them real quickly. Midas Touch, which I think can be a little bit, I like Midas Touch a lot. There's a couple specific people in there that I really like, but Midas Touch can be a little bit forward, particularly Ben Meiselas. I love him, but I think he can be a little forward. Brian Tyler Cohen, Adam Mockler, Legal AF, and the Democracy Docket with Mark Elias, one of Trump's most hated lawyers. He shits in a gold toilet. Yeah. When somebody has so much, how do they dictate to me what's good enough? Remember when his Commerce Secretary Lutnick came out and said, my mother-in-law, she wouldn't complain if she didn't receive her check, her Social Security check. She would just say something happened and I'll get it next month. But if somebody complains, they're a fraudster. It's easy to say that when you have billions in the bank. Now, I can't speak for other people here. I don't have billions in the bank. I barely have enough in the bank to kind of keep things going. Are we better than paycheck to paycheck? Yep. Are we significantly better than paycheck to paycheck? No. No. I'm currently building off my grid camp, and I'm going to make the local Amish my new best friends. Mike, that's awesome. Absolutely. There's something about being able to do that stuff for yourself now. I think we're all going to have to learn that self-reliance, right? Anyway. So, look, I know that there are a lot of people who are not on the same political page as me. And I just want to take a quick aside and just say, and I'm okay with that. Look, we're going to disagree on things. In fact, I've been thinking a lot about this. I've got two political views that generally don't jibe with the left. I personally, I'm going to qualify this. I'm not a big abortion guy. Okay. But I will say this, it's not my choice. It's not my choice. I don't have to. It's every individual has to make that choice. But personally speaking, like I said, this is kind of how I feel. But everybody, I believe 110% in a woman's right to choose. It's not my fucking choice, whatever I believe. The second part, and I think this will probably surprise a couple, I actually believe in certain gun rights. I don't care to have a gun. It's not my thing, but I believe in it. Just make some sensible laws. And that's, I think, where I have a hard time with the far right. It's like, you can't do this in such a way that causes destruction. Hey, George, great to see you again. Paul, what's going on, brother? Picking up dinner, so I'll be back in a bit. Sounds good, Mike. So I'm okay. Again, I have certain beliefs in the freedoms that we have been allowed here. I also think if those freedoms are going so out of fucking whack, no, then you have to find ways of bringing them back. In the same way, I believe in capitalism. I'm a socialist, and I believe in capitalism as a tool that needs to be managed so that it benefits greater society. That's it. If it doesn't benefit the entirety of society, then it ain't right. Like I said, you want to go out and buy a Ferrari. If you got the scratch, you want to buy a Ferrari, hey, knock yourself out. I don't give a shit. But don't tell me what I can and cannot buy, that you don't need that. Sorry that's getting a little expensive, but you don't need all those toys for your kids. You don't need that shit over there. Like you, I don't have a gun, but I think we should be able to choose to have one or not. 100%. And just put out sensible laws that prevent psychotics from having access to them. Just create some sensible laws. You can't walk into a shop, pick something up immediately, come back in a few days. You don't need it right now. It's like, what is it with instant gratification? Do I need to have a model right now? No, if my model ships tomorrow and I get it in a few days, oh, well, I'll wait. If I need something that bad, food, yes. Heat, hot water, yes. Something to keep me warm in the winter, yes. I have several guns, just bought another. Good, Mike. I'm not going to say I'm happy for you, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Guns will kill people, people kill people. Yeah. I think people with guns kill people, but that's just me. But again, it's adding sensibility is all I'm saying. I have 3 models in a box waiting for me when I get home. That's cool, Mike. But I'm assuming if you didn't get them, like you placed that order, they weren't at your doorstep 15 minutes later. Were you upset? I mean, legitimate. Were you upset? I don't think it matters. If our necessity to have something instantaneously, especially something that is potentially as dangerous as that, it's problematic. Think about it this way: cars. You can't go out and I'm going to go buy a car, and I take it back. I'm not going to get my license and go get a car instantaneously. No, you got to go through a whole process to get to getting that car. Friend in San Diego sent them actually 4 models. Nice. See, so it was 4, not 3. Lucky you. Anyway, so I think it's important for us to be sensible, and if nothing else, to try to be understanding of others around us. And that is something that we have lost. That you having a certain right is anathema to me. 3 Mospita, 1 Macross. Really? Oh, wow. Dude, which Mospita kits? I had a box delivered today, so help me God if that didn't show up. By the way, it's Kim's birthday present. Priorities. Exactly, priorities. Now to change something I wanted to share, I am watching a beautiful eagle with a 7-foot wingspan. He is mad. Oh, Paul, that's great. Oh my God. I love watching birds of prey. Like every time I'm driving down the highway and I see like either an osprey or a hawk or whatever, it's like, oh, get your eyes back on the road. 3 Cyclone kits. Oh yeah, dude. Are they the old school ones? Either from Aoshima or Imai? I love it, Mike. So anyway, yeah, like I said, please do distract me. I'm okay with the distraction. But I do want to just continue to just make sure. Yep, I believe so. Yeah, nice. All I ask is that we try to be kind to each other, show less anger and hatred to people. In fact, what is frustrating, and I think it's the thing that extremists on both sides, but certainly from the Republican side, there is such a hatred, and I'm going to tell you why the Republicans in a second, such a hatred of Democrats that they are willing to change laws that will destroy democracy, because it's better to be to have your enemy put down, even if it destroys you and the country and the community around you, and that's okay. This week on Lefty's losing it. Absolutely, Mike, but it's up to us to start losing it, because if we don't, guess what? This country is going to be more fucked than it already is, and I'm okay with that. Here can get 15 to 20 pounds, around 3.5 feet tall. Wow, that is massive, Paul. Paul, you don't have to answer if you don't want. Can I ask where you're located? Because this is great. And yeah, I ask these questions all the time, and if people don't feel like they can answer, that's not a problem. So, anyway, that level of destruction that is coming about is uncalled for. And like I said, I know that there are extremists on both sides. Tennessee, nice. Driven through, never stopped. Someday, hopefully. Actually, take it back. No, we stopped in Nashville once. Whoa, that was when my wife was really sick, though. Be honest, Dems hate Trump so bad they'll do is complain about him without providing any real solutions. Mike, I'm not going to disagree with you. That's why Democrats have lost for the longest time. That scares me. His moves are reminiscent of past dictators filling the courts. Yeah, absolutely. But Mike, let's also be honest. Mike, I will give you that the Democrats don't have a good solution. But I also don't think the solution to solving problems is taking out the court system. Every time the courts disagree with you, that's not a bad thing. That means you may be doing something that is unconstitutional. processing dissenters of policy. Yeah, exactly. By the way, if we continue down this path, there may come a time where, because these videos are public, I'm not going to take them down. There may come a time that I might be looked as ooh, you know what? He's saying some bad shit. Because as we do know, right now the Republicans have actually voted for, the Republicans in Congress have voted for a law. It's not going to go to the Senate. Voted for a law that will allow for citizens to be deported. And I'm sorry, if you're a true American and you love this country and not give me this bullshit about, hey, pro-America. If you truly love this country, then you will look at that as being wrong. Guys do need to wake up though and come up with a real, absolutely, not just a competitor. No, Mike has a valid point. They need to come up with a legitimate solution to this. They need to come up with a legitimate solution. People are suffering. The problem is that what Trump is trying to do. Okay, let's just use this as an example. I have to act like a baby and have a beautiful day, George and chat. Thank you, Paul. You too. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for letting us know about that, Eagle. That's beautiful to know. The Democrats themselves have dug themselves into a hole. The left is ostracizing the independents, I believe. Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you take a look, sorry, I thought my glasses were on. If you take a look at the statistics of what's going on, Democrats are not polling any better. It's very cool for sure. Yeah. Paul, that's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that. And have a great, lovely night tonight. But I don't think that the answer is to destroy the Constitution and our freedoms. And that's where I think things are going. So remember I said earlier, there are two things that I think that are significantly problematic. One is Project 2025, and the second thing is Christian nationalism. Those two things are absolutely the destruction of this country. They don't fucking care about the Constitution. They will sit there and use it and weaponize the Constitution, but they do not care about the Constitution. They would rather this be a white Christian nationalist country that has limited rights for a certain minority. Everybody else, get the fuck out of here. I have a little about the leftists killing me with some of their ideas. I'm not disagreeing. I think, again, I heard something recently that I thought was very, very good. It was actually by a former Republican. And his comment is, the extremists have to stop. And I agree. At some point, we will dialogue. Let's get back to having conversations about abortion, about tax cuts and capitalism and all that. Have good conversations about that. I'm totally fine with that. I just don't think that right now, with the extremism on all sides, I don't think we can do that. You have to have a way of being able to talk with your fellow person. In fact, Mike and I had a conversation earlier. We disagree on many things, but we're having a conversation, and we even throw jibes at each other. And that's okay. And that is absolutely okay. There was a time when sides they opposed each other, and they can get heated, but it wasn't an existential threat. Jab, jab, stab. Ow, ow, ow. The issue is right now, it's both sides, and let's truly be honest. The extreme far right has weaponized this because they're not dummies, they're smart. They've weaponized using Christian nationalism, wrapping it in a cloth of Project 2025, and having somebody like a narcissist like Trump be able to spearhead all this. And now we have said that if you dissent or disagree from what I believe, you are fake news. You are an activist judge. You're basically, bending laws because you're disagreeing with the president. If you don't adhere to what we say, we're going to get rid of you. All of that weaponization is creating even greater schism. I remember years ago reading a book from Harry Turtledove, and it's the first time I heard the term the center cannot hold. And right now we are at that place. There is no center, and the center cannot hold. And that is a truly unfortunate situation. Truly unfortunate. We need a center. Look, you can be a lefty, you can be a righty, it doesn't matter. But we have to somehow come together in the middle to be able to not do this, but to do this, to come together and have dialogue. There are going to be things that I'm not going to get. I get it. But there's going to be things that you're not going to get. And if you don't get those things, if I don't get those things, it's not a personal attack. So both sides are running rampant, lunatics taking over the asylum. Yeah. And I don't know what it's going to take to stop. I agree that it can't be just the Democrats just sitting there and vilifying. What are you proposing? Frankly, let's have a very honest conversation. This whole idiotic concept of reshoring manufacturing in this country is absolutely stupid. It isn't going to happen. Not only because of the perceived they can make things cheaper in China or Vietnam or whatever. It's because their manufacturing base is better there. But more importantly, when you bring those factories back here, you're not going to have people building shit. Take a look at how cars were made in the 70s and 80s, early 80s. Now take a look at how cars are being made. There are fewer people working in the plants themselves on the manufacturing floor. Why? It's going to robotics. So when you have technology supplanting human labor, okay? How about if this is a real world example? How many people here, I want to get a show of hands. How many people here, when they go grocery shopping, use the self-checkout? You go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to your grocery store. How many people use the self-checkout rather than going through the personalized one? I'm guilty of it. But when that happens, you got one person manning 6 checkout areas rather than one person per checkout area. First of all, if you guys aren't doing it, you're lying. I'm just saying you're lying. So I try to go more to the personalized checkout thing, but it's hard because me personally, I have a hard time engaging. There are times when it's just like I just want to just kind of do my checkout thing and just be left alone. But with that, the automation thing is, I think, what's going to change. So anybody who's saying, yeah, I do if it's convenient. Yeah, and I think that's what we're finding. It's more convenient. I'll just do my own checkout thing. We trust in ourselves rather than having somebody else be there. Just don't want to deal with people. Whatever the excuse is, and it's an excuse. But my point of all this is that we are moving more towards an automated society where at some point we will have self-driving cars. We're having technology being made by robots. We can't make the little itty bitty chip things. We're not soldering boards with little itty bitty, 8, 10, 12, 15 layer circuit boards where that's all being done by automation. So if that's the case, then reshoring manufacturing isn't going to solve the problem. Your better bet is, and this is where I think the Democrats have been right, why not educate people to get them out of those jobs where, you know what, we need people who know how to repair robots. We need people who can do other things like, I don't know. I don't know where the job market is going. Maybe it's that we don't go to college. Maybe it's just what? Right now, we still need humans to build houses, to be plumbers, to be electricians, to be nurses, to be doctors. Maybe we need, how can we make those more affordable rather than let's bring manufacturing back here. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here. The motherfuckers who are saying bring manufacturing here, why aren't they? Are they literally going to now say, hey, you know what? Why don't we pay these people above minimum wage? Those jobs, you know what? Oh my God, they want to form a union. They want to actually make real money doing this. Yeah, fuck you. No. We'll move to Texas, where we'll open up a non because we're a right to work state, right? So we can kind of build shit there and pay people at what's minimum wage in Texas? 7.25. I think it's the national minimum wage, which is I don't think my kids can't survive on that living here. How the fuck do you expect somebody whose livelihood is that they've got a family is going to be able to do that? But we're going to bring manufacturing here and it's going to benefit really nobody, except maybe the business owners, maybe if they go full automation or they pay their labor nothing. Nothing. So, I've actually not been working a lot on this model, partly because the parts that I'm working on right now, I really don't care for. I may actually do this like not online. I might do this offline because the section that I'm working on, it's really just not fun. Just gonna say it. Jesus Christ, 7 something an hour. Oh yeah, time flies when you're having fun, Ken. What I missed was on a work call. I'd suggest watching the episode again. You missed a whole lot. But hopefully that work call wasn't a painful work call. Hopefully it wasn't too painful. Damn, I'm sadly out of touch. Out of touch on what? What are you out of touch on, Ken? By the way, Ken, how are you doing? And secondly, have you been working on any software shit? Minimum wage. Oh yeah. Minimum wage, federal minimum wage is like 7.25, 7.50. It's an obscene number. Think about that for a second. Doing okay. I'm glad to hear you're doing okay. Dude, Ken, you got to keep me posted on how things are going. I'm going to have to take a trip out and visit you. And I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm not going to say immediately after, you go if you ever figure out if you're having surgery or not. But I'm going to pop on over. We're going to hang out. I'm going to eat and watch my hockey team get knocked out of the playoffs. Nice. Who are they playing, Mike? I have not been creative in the past month or so. Yeah. I can understand that, especially if you're not like in 100% good health. That'll happen. All right, Mike. Hey, Mike. Love you, brother. Love you very much. A visit sounds good, brother. Yeah. Good. I think we have to remember that the people on the other side of the whatever, the political spectrum, the religious spectrum, whatever, they're human beings. And when you talk to them, something I've mentioned before, the reason why I like using people's names when we're having these conversations, why we're doing this, the reason why I like to use people's names, once you start to personalize, people get to know you and you get to know them. And in particular, when you break the ice with people's names, how can there be hatred? There really can't. So we can't have hatred. Edmonton spoilers. Oh, Mike. Edmonton, as in, I'm assuming that's in Canada, right? Hey, Mike, elbows up. By the way, cheers to Mark Carney up in Canada. Man, if nothing else, okay, let's kind of end this on a happy note. If nothing else, the lunacy of what's happening in our own federal government is absolutely uniting the rest of the world. So maybe this is a good thing. You know, it's uniting people around Ukraine. It brought Canada back into some level of sanity. Where, and in fact, the guy that they got up there, Mark Carney, given his background, he's going to do great for Canada. There's a unity that's happening, and in fact, this may actually help us in the very long term, but it's certainly going to do great for China. The relationships that all these countries are going to have with China. What was it? South Korea, Japan, and China had meetings right after all this Liberation Day shit blew up. I mean, let's think about it. Japan and South Korea? It's crazy shit. So the world, we are helping the world unite. And hopefully, in my lifetime, I'll be able to see that we'll be brought back into the fold of the world. Edmonton doing better than my Bruins. Are they really? I haven't followed the Bruins in a little while. I love the Bruins. I gotta tell you, I don't follow hockey well, but when hockey comes on TV, I do like watching hockey. It's a great sport. And I hate the snow and ice. Go figure. Anyway, so trying to leave it on a positive note. For all the craziness that's going on, there's always some good in everything evil. There's always some good. And the good that's coming out now is the good of people coming together and having conversations and dialoguing. Gotta love playoff hockey. Yeah, I should try to catch a game. So how bad are the Bruins doing? Like I said, I've been following them in a while. Anyway, I think what I'm gonna do, guys, is it's that time. My daughter's gonna be coming home soon, so I'm gonna bail on out of here. I didn't obviously cover everything, and I'm gonna be doing this every Thursday night, and I hope that people will understand. I'm trying to find my voice here in doing this. Later, fellas. Nick, have a good one, brother. Hope you have a nice, painless evening. Sorry. I'm trying to discover my voice here, and I'm trying not to be like hyper angry about what's going on because that doesn't do anything. But I want to actually start using the voice that my parents showed, using that kindness and talking about all the crazy shit that's going on in a way that does it through a certain level of kindness. I hope. We'll see. So anyway, everybody, I want to thank everybody for later Joe, later Nick, later Ken. Have a good night, brother. I want to thank everybody who was on tonight. Again, no matter what side of this fence you're on, it doesn't matter. But whatever we do, as I say in the morning, go out there and do good. Brighten the world as much as you possibly can. It's getting crazier by the moment. People are just at and I get it, they're at their wits' end. Let's see what we can do to make somebody's day just a smidge better. Brighten their world just that much. And with luck, maybe that'll just start changing some hearts. I'm not going to change somebody's political attitude, but maybe we can start changing some hearts a little bit, okay? So with that, guys, go do good. Enjoy the evening. Love you all. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Not talking about politics, but I will be doing that. Enjoy the evening. Do good. Love you all, and peace.